Morning, all. All right, so let us discuss a little bit of news of the day before we get into today's game between the Washington Capitals and Vancouver Canucks. Starting off with news with the Dallas Stars. Jeff Merrick reporting that the Dallas Stars have cranked it up a little bit in terms of trying to trade John Klingberg. Klingberg came out and was, very clear and concise in saying that he wasn't happy about the lack of progression on contract talks, and he's been frustrated the last few years and whatnot. And I don't think Dallas is going to meet his demands. So trading him would be the smartest move for the Dallas Stars. The one question I have is, so this would be basically a rental, but for Dallas, they're close enough to a playoff spot, and there is the possibility they could turn their road record around at some point, so they could actually make a run at the playoffs. So do you make a deal for a draft pick and a prospect, or do you try to make a hockey trade? Do you try to find a team who is willing to meet Klingberg's demands, or at least talk contract with them and work out a sign and trade, right? So we'll see what kind of a deal Dallas is looking to make, because if they want to make a hockey trade, well, you can't do that with somebody who's not signed to an extension past this season. So we'll see. We'll see what Dallas does, but clearly Klingberg's relationship with Dallas is, at this point, not one that's going to be salvaged. St. Louis was shorthanded in last night's game. Lots of teams are shorthanded right now. It's been a thing. It's clearly been a problem for about a month's time now. But for St. Louis, Shen, Tarasenko, and Parayko are all going to return to their lineup tomorrow. So that's three big names coming back into their lineup for tomorrow's game. Tomorrow, again, even though it's a Monday, very busy day in the NHL. Hockey all day in the NHL tomorrow. So, yeah, we'll see how St. Louis does in their game, which is tomorrow. Vegas news. So the idea of Vegas being way over the cap with the Jack Eichel deal, it's still a thing. And Bill Foley, the owner of the Vegas Golden Knights, believes that with Eichel, he's probably only a few weeks away. So that would mean that Vegas is about a few weeks away from having to make a deal in order to be under the cap. And yeah, we'll see what they do. What ends up happening, of course, when Pacioretty comes back from injury, that's going to lead to a lot more money that has to be moved out. But with Pacioretty out with injury right now, it's not as much money that needs to be moved out, but they'd still be over the cap. So we'll see what kind of moves are made, and if they're original Golden Knights that might end up being out, or if they're newer Golden Knights, or what happens. With Vegas, it really is. It's odd to me the way that they've managed this team. Very good right out of year one, but they've always seemingly been chasing other players. They chased Stone, they chased Pietrangelo, they chased Pacioretty, they chased Eichel. They always seem to want that new shiny object. Might interest you in a John Klingberg. So there always seems to be that thing in Vegas where they want that other big name, that other player, right? So when they get Eichel back, I don't think it's going to be big name players necessarily that go, but you're going to have to get rid of $10 million in money in order to get Eichel to fit, and it's not going to be easy. Eric Staal, good news for fans of Eric Staal last night. He scores the overtime winner for the Iowa Wild last night, so I put up the Minnesota logo because I do not have logos for the AHL. That could change over the next, I'll say, 6 months' time, but and it's a ways off. But at some point, yeah, you might see a board that's covered in AHL logos as well. It could absolutely happen. So yeah, Staal, the OT winner last night, bodes well. And we'll see if he ends up with a contract with Minnesota sooner or later. Probably wait till after the Olympics, right? So, yeah, for Staal, the comeback is underway. I would be very surprised if he's not with Minnesota by the trade deadline. Austin Matthews last night scores on the road. 10th game in a row that he's been able to do that. Breaks some records along the way, and he's almost broken the NHL record for road game goal streak during a single season. The record is 11, and it's shared by Pavel Bure and Steve Yzerman. You may have heard of these two players. So it's a pretty big record, and the other thing that's going on, too, while he's chasing that record, he now has 25 goals. He is one behind Leon Draisaitl for the league lead in goal scoring, and he is the hottest goal scorer in the league. So by this time next week, he could be the number one goal scorer in the league, which is kind of where I had a feeling he'd be before the season started. So yeah, Matthews having a very good run. Toronto doing pretty darn well. we'll see how far that goes, how long that continues. Good feeling out of Ottawa from last night. I mentioned it in the review that it feels like that bench is just having a lot of fun. They're really enjoying hockey right now. And Adam Gaudette kind of doubling down on that, stating that he's enjoying hockey for the first time in a while, that for the last year and a half it's been a really tough go for him. I guess it just wasn't a fit in Chicago. And of course, towards the end of his time in Vancouver, it was clear he wasn't going to be a prominent player in Vancouver. He wasn't going to get much of a chance. He didn't have a lot of ice time last night for Ottawa, but he gets a goal and an assist, and he's saying he's enjoying himself in Ottawa for the first time in a long time. So I'm happy for Gaudette. It didn't work out in Vancouver. Doesn't mean I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it work out for him anywhere else. And he does have talent. He does have that potential. I know in Vancouver he was projected to be a third-line center and a shutdown guy, and it just never quite worked out. There was one season there where it looked like it was going to get there, and then it never happened. Doesn't mean it can't happen somewhere else though. So looking at the chases in the NHL, looking at the points chase today, Leon Draisaitl leads the league with 54 points. Of course, things have slowed down for him and for McDavid, who has 53. And right there with them are Ovechkin, who has 53 points. It's been a little bit slower for him goal-scoring wise lately, but he's still racking up points. And then there's Huberdeau. Huberdeau has 53 points. Quietly closing in on Art Ross consideration. And, of course, the Art Ross, since that's whoever wins the points race. And, of course, the tiebreaker is goals. So if you have two guys with 140 points, one has more goals, they win the Art Ross. Huberdeau's in the discussion right now. He leads the league in assists. The 53 points is impressive. Of course, Ovechkin plays today against Vancouver. Washington's 4-0-1 in their last 5 against Vancouver. So Ovechkin may very well get a couple of goals. He may very well get himself a couple of assists. He may end up with some points today. We'll see. But Huberdeau being this high up, I think it's interesting, and I think that it's a sign that he may be one of the more underrated superstars in the league. I've been saying that for a while, that now Barkov's getting a lot of the attention and people love Barkov, and I think it's acknowledged he's one of the best two-way forwards in the game, but Huberdeau is also pretty fantastic. So there you go. Little news of the day video for all you fine people today. Again, it's just the one game today. I think there's 8 games tomorrow, and so, yeah, kind of a quiet day today, so enjoy it. Of course, there's football, so if you care about football, for instance, if you're a Bengals fan and the Bengals just won a game in the playoffs for the first time since you just graduated high school, you might feel pretty good about the Bengals today, but it's not like you have... Actually, I don't have my Bengals hat sit. I thought I had my Bengals hat sitting right where I could reach it right now. I do. I have it right here. So I don't have a lot of NFL hats, but I have Bengals right here. I have 2 different Bengals hats. So kudos to Cincinnati for getting it done. And I knew Joe Burrow would be the guy, just like for my Chargers. Herbert's going to get them there eventually. And then the question becomes one of, does this team eventually win a Super Bowl? Hey, if they do, I'm going to be quite happy. Teams I cheer for don't win. I picked the Bengals. Back in the 80s, I picked the Bengals. So, yeah, that just shows my track record. And of course, in baseball, it's the Padres. So, yeah, teams I cheer for don't win. There you go. And good luck to the Canucks today. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will talk to you again soon.